many of them disagree.
Those people who are specialists but don't agree with the polemic and resign, and there have been a number that I know of, they are simply put on the author list and become part of this 2,500 of the world's top scientists.
People have decided you have to convince other people that since no scientist disagrees, you shouldn't disagree either. But that, whenever you hear that in science, that's pure propaganda.
All right, let's pull it right there.
Of how a theory about...
And it is pure propaganda, and I encourage people to go check that out on the web or get a hard copy of it, because it's instrumental in showing the trends of climate change on the Earth, you know, prior to us being blamed for too much CO2. Like the guy said, you know, there were times on the Earth that CO2 was 3 times as prevalent and 10 times as prevalent. Yet the trends don't show that the heat wave went up. The truth is that the sun is heating up. It's got a lot more sunspots going on, and overall, you know, in certain regions, the temperature's going up. You're going to have it. It's cyclic. It's real climate change from nature. Nature. What a huge concept that nature really still exists, and you know, it has a draw on our lives. That man doesn't control everything. I know there are some listeners out there that feel like, you know, people are using HAARP to control all the weather everywhere. I'm not one of those guys. I mean, obviously, HAARP is an interesting thing to look into. I would say that it's definitely utilized in some cases. But the Earth is nature's force. And I don't think we're going to be able to, you know, cool the Earth or heat the Earth through us spraying a can of hairspray. Or, you know, launching a bottle of WD-40 with a little CO2 in it. It's absolute nonsense. You know, the way that chlorofluorocarbons were demonized when I was a kid. I mean, I sat down in class, and we would watch documentary after documentary with celebrity after celebrity. The one that really struck me the most was the one with Whoopi Goldberg and Ted Danson and the guy who played Vinny Del Pino on Doogie Howser. They're all telling me, oh, no. And this is when I'm like 10 years old. In 15 years, you're not going to be able to go outside unless you have a hazmat suit on. I mean, I'm literally watching this stuff, you know, and they're encouraging you, oh, you got to stop behaving this way, and we've got to go after people, and people have to be responsible for their carbon footprint. And now ABC has what was it, ABC's PlanetSlayer.com or something. They had a little cartoon pig for your kids, and it showed that the pig and I think another farm animal gave up less of a carbon footprint, and that really your allotted amount of carbon, you should be dead at 1.5. About 18 months. That should be your allotted carbon footprint. And there's blood on it spattered over. Just type in, you know, ABC News carbon footprint. I'm sure you'll get the Infowars.com or PrisonPlanet.tv article. And that's disgusting to me because, you know, first of all, my little sister, who's 13 years old, she's on the web. You know, she's been on the web for years. I would say that most of her entertainment is now coming from the web and not so much television, and she sees things like this. And now I have a 4-year-old niece who, amazingly enough, she's very well-spoken, she's very web-savvy, and she's on these websites, you know, playing Dora the Explorer or whatever, and she's subject to these same modes of propaganda. I would hate to have to explain to my 4-year-old niece why she should have been blown up 2.5 years ago in a pig box because she used her allotted amount of carbon credits. And Lord knows if that's where we'll reach at one point. Who knows? Maybe we won't even have to pay a carbon tax at one point. You'll be allotted a number of carbon credits throughout your lifetime, and then when you use those carbon credits, you'll be exterminated. It'll be like Logan's Run. That's what we're headed towards, you know. And they've been soft killing us for years with the vaccinations and their little backdoor eugenics programs. I'm here to tell you, folks, the Nazis never really lost. They relocated here. Okay, Project Paperclip, look into it. We harnessed many a Nazi scientist. We brought him into our intelligence organizations, our space programs, our CIA backdoor programs, OSS and then the CIA, they're the ones that are behind things like MK Ultra. By the way, there are a bunch of Vietnam vets in the news this week suing over the mind control programs that the government put them through. Okay? So, you don't believe in MK Ultra? Oh, really? Well, there's only all these declassified documents, and then the serious documents got destroyed. They only had hearings in Congress. But it doesn't exist. The government would never hurt us. The Tuskegee experiments, where they gave black pilots syphilis just to see what it would do. Well, that's the stuff that's public, okay? And there are a lot of backdoor things that we still do not know about. I hate to tell you, but Paperclip has not been fully declassified. Most of the most disgusting things are probably hidden from the public. Not probably, they are hidden from the public. You know, the Nazis just did everything out in the open. And then when they had their trials, they pointed to institutes like the Carnegie Institute and the Rockefellers saying, well, we were just trying to clean up the population like you had said. We were just following your model. Well, that model is still here and alive and well. And, you know, I'm not a huge Reverend Wright fan, you know, who was ostracized by the Obama campaign the moment he spoke a little bit of truth in the media. But he's dead on when he talks about HIV being a bioweapon. Come on. Really? You don't know? Check it out. Just look at the history of it. I thank